Hello everyone, and welcome back to the adventures of Arthur Shepard. Now, I do believe he wanted to speak to the crew about what's going on in their heads, and also to see their reaction to the new addition, Dr. Liard to Sony.
I prefer gold to silver, for my metal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
He'd want to know whether that be something he really wants.
If we present you with a medal, you'll end up sitting on stage listening to politicians make speeches for a couple of hours. Fun.
That's a good point. They'd probably make me shave, too. I spent the last 7 weeks working on this baby. No medal's worth that. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
Let's see, we know how we got his nickname, we know about his disease. Is there anything else we can actually ask him right now? Well, let's ask for his status report.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
Alright, well, just let the confident pilot stroke his own ego.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
Yeah. You know, I listen to so much arrogance for one day. Let's see what Presley has to say.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Well, I think we want to reassure him. I mean, they're part of the crew. Might be unusual. And Arthur would admit it's even a bit unusual for him to have non-humans on board, but they're needed. They have skills that are useful.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, sir, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
Well, he seems like he's really expressing doubt here. We would want to call him on that and see why he has these doubts.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Yeah, okay. That was fairly straightforward. Let's ask him about it.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Well, if you would want to remind him that it really makes sense for us to call for help, considering that it's all part of humanity being better accepted by the other races in the system.
Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
It's good to know. Maybe learn a bit more about him. Arthur's a bit curious.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were one of the first reinforcements to arrive at Elysium after the Blitz hit. Those raiders were no match for an Alliance frigate. Of course, the only reason the colony was still standing was because of you, Commander. I can't believe you held out as long as you did.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Not bad. Well, I think that'll be all.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
Actually got a few Renegon points for that. Salute. I don't think there's anyone to speak to in the meeting hall right now, no. And no, we recently talked to the council, so I doubt there's anything new we would want to share to them. So we should check in with the other crew. Nothing much going on here. Might as well fill up on Metagel.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
It doesn't look like there's anything new to
I
talk
should
to
go.
her about.
Goodbye, Commander.
Dr. Chakwas seems preoccupied. Oh, here's Liara.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
Yeah, you'd want to know whether she's alright.
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
Yeah, Arthur has great confidence in Dr. Chakwas, and he would not be hesitant to share that.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
You would just, tell her she's welcome.
I'm just glad we got there in time.
So am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
I'd say he believes her.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
So while she's more on the subject, he'd want to know more about Benezia.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
And then also ask about Asari culture.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Such as?
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
How would that work? Arthur would wonder.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
And he would want to know what happens to the other parent of what other species it is.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Well, I suppose he would ask then about who her father was, because we know who her mother was.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
So that is possible then.
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Let's not make assumptions here. We also want to try to make her feel a little bit better about herself.
Maybe she wanted to meet you, but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Sounds really painful, not being able to meet your parent.
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
I suppose that's all he would want to ask her about right now.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
So Arthur learns a few interesting things about Asari culture that he was ignorant of. He'd probably find it a little disturbing how, oh, hey, items. Okay. Let's see, can he arrange equipment? It doesn't look like that can be done right now.
Anything you need, Commander?
Let's see what he has to say about the situation.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
He would want to hear what he's really thinking.
Alenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
Yeah, these are thoughts that Arthur has been keeping to himself, but he's obviously been quite frustrated with how the Council is being less than cooperative. But he would never say that, considering he's used to not voicing his opinions on subjects because for the greater good or for the mission or simply to follow orders.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
He would want to know how he was trained there.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
That seems like a bit of not a very nice question to ask. Do you want to know, what his thoughts on that, or whether his exposure was accidental or not?
Is there some question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. Bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
You'd want him to continue.
Jump Zero is a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
You want to know that he's willing to listen if he wants to share.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
I appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
Good to hear.
Anything you need, Commander?
Tactical appraisal?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Dr. Tassoni. Seems like a sweet girl. Easy on the eyes. I mean, if you like the bookish sort.
What do you?
Any intentions there, Lieutenant?
No, Commander. Just art appreciation.
Very nice. Carry on, kid.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
That's funny. And that is one fancy wall. Alright, so we're going to be taking the elevator down to the lower decks to speak with the rest of the crew. Let's see what they have to say. Down we go. Let's start with the engineering department first.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Well, Engineer Adams doesn't have anything new to
Carry
say.
on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
How about Tali?
Oh, hello, Shepard.
It took an interesting tone. Or know whether something was up.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me. Especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving. And the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
You'd want to know whether she can't sleep in the quiet of space?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Well, that just seems like a classic case of homesickness.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
You want her to know whether she intends to return or not.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
Indeed. Alright, I guess there's nothing new to talk about, so good speaking with you, Tali.
I should go.
See you later.
And now to catch up with everyone in here.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
That seems to be the situation.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met him.
So Rex has met him before then.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought I was important.
You'd want to know more.
I'll decide what's important. Now tell me how you know Saren.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
Pardon?
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. Couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
Was that really all?
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Yeah.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
I want to know, actually, before he's done with Rex completely.
Shepard?
No, nothing new.
Rex?
Alright, let's speak to
Looking for supplies?
our requisition officer.
How often will you get new items?
Well, that depends on how many licenses you've purchased. But I'll rotate items on a regular basis regardless. And anytime we land someplace with a big enough port, I'll buy, sell, and trade whatever I can. Check back
Fair enough.
often. I need to move items quickly, so only
Let's
the
see what
most
you've got.
You bet, Commander.
Sounds good. Alright, so armor that's way too expensive. Still, we actually can buy light armor, but I think we want to focus on getting heavier armor sooner. We are actually able to start affording some of these weapons now. Although I'm not sure we really want to invest just yet. Let's actually see what we can sell that we really don't need. Well, I think we should probably rearrange everyone's equipment first before we go about selling old crap. But first, let's talk to Garrus.
Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
You want to know about them.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it, too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
Really?
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate, me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Awkward.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies